world is a very resilient yet delicate place. Slight interference to the fragile systems of Earth can cause calamity. Global warming, natural disasters, mass drought, and flooding are just some of the many consequences of human activity. In the relatively small blip of time in which we occupy as a species, we have effectively thrown the planet off balance in terms of sustainability and natural healing of the environment. That being said, let's make it worse. This video will discuss the best ways to possibly obliterate the planet on a wide scale. From simply dumping garbage into the ocean to creating a cloud of nuclear fallout that will poison the Earth for thousands of years, we will explore different ways to pollute the planet beyond recognition, making the world an overall worse place for the next millennia.
RSVP, your local travel agent. Don't just cruise the Caribbean, cruise the Royal Caribbean.
Literally everyone on the planet knows the importance of our oceans. From food gathering to the sheer scale of biodiversity, it is hard to ignore the beauty and purpose of keeping the ocean healthy. Despite that, it also makes for a wonderful garbage can. Every year, humanity contributes to over 12 million tons of plastic waste in the ocean. This all comes from a variety of sources, categorized as land-based marine debris, contributing to around 80% of all ocean garbage, and ocean-based marine debris, coming from seafaring vessels and whatnot. All of this garbage causes different issues for the ocean, including marine poisoning due to chemicals, physical damage and harm due to debris, and algal blooms caused by excessive nutrients in the water from sewage and decaying biomatter from trash. With rising ocean temperatures and acidification also aiding and ruining our waters, the destruction of the ocean would cripple major industries that rack in billions per year, as well as the uniquely beautiful organisms that inhabit the blue abyss.
Time-lapse satellite pictures have confirmed the annual appearance of the massive hole, shown in red and purple at the center. One theory for the appearance of the hole in the ozone layer is that it's a natural phenomenon caused by the Antarctic's climate and the solar cycle.
There was a time when the literal layer of magic protecting the Earth from the sun's grubby little hands was severely damaged. The fact that this even happened in recent memory is kind of amazing in an awful way, but I digress. For a while, the governments around the world understood that chlorofluorocarbons were having a negative impact on the ozone layer. Naturally, it was just ignored until a massive hole in the layer was discovered over Antarctica in the mid-80s. The Montreal Protocol of 1987 finally began to phase out many pollutants that were contributing to the hole, and by early 2010s, over 98% of the chemicals addressed in the treaty were pretty much phased out. Just to show how bad hydrochlorofluorocarbons are, the BBC states that they are almost 2,000 times stronger than carbon dioxide. Without the ozone layer, the risk of cancer would be much higher, along with immune system deficiencies and reduced crop and marine yields. Pretty much, the act of killing this layer within our atmosphere would just ruin the entire planet. It's so funny that it took until the 80s to do something about this issue.
There has been a nuclear accident in the Soviet Union, and the Soviets have admitted that it happened.
In 1986, a nuclear reactor in the Chernobyl plant, located in what is now Ukraine, would create one of the most destructive and potentially world-crippling man-made disasters in human history. The explosion of an RBMK-1000 nuclear reactor during a test would poison the earth and the air. The radioactive cloud emitted from the burning reactor would travel around Europe, reaching as far as Great Britain and Scandinavia. The scale of severity would vary, with areas closest to reactors such as Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine being the most contaminated, of course. Remnants of cesium ejected from the reactor have been found in Germany, though. With a half-life of around 30 years, only about half of the radioactive isotope has decayed since 1986. Still, Pripyat will remain irradiated for potentially 20,000 years. Another way you can heavily irradiate an area, of course, is with atomic weapons. The best example of this has to be during the Korean War. With hundreds of thousands of Chinese troops reinforcing the North Koreans, Leader of US troops Douglas MacArthur, in his infinite wisdom, apparently wanted to drop atomic bombs stretching from the Yellow Sea all the way to the Sea of Japan, separating the Korean peninsula with a belt of radioactive cobalt, reducing the land to an uninhabitable wasteland for 60 years, halting the Chinese advance and securing a total American victory. Obviously, he never did that and was actually fired for overstepping his power, but that's certainly a way you can destroy the planet. As we have around 5,000 nuclear weapons in America alone, this is more than possible today. We very much still feel the effects of these issues from across the planet, with areas of Pripyat still uninhabitable, a massive patch of garbage the size of Texas just floating in the ocean, and oh, I guess the ozone is healing. Nevertheless, humanity is seriously doomed if we don't get our act together. With rising populations, I wouldn't be surprised if many of these issues just kind of continue into the future. However, I am somewhat optimistic. The future is definitely getting cleaner, with more bills being passed around the world to promote a greener, more sustainable lifestyle. Of course, I don't endorse the destruction of the little blue rock our species calls home. I just find it kind of hilarious that humanity is this destructive to its own home. I mean, there's literally hundreds of other issues that I haven't even touched on, many equally just as bad, if not more than the ones I was just promoting. Despite that, it is truly inspiring that more and more people are finally developing a working brain capable of understanding that the world isn't invincible, and neither are we. If we want to prevail, we'll have to work together as a collective. It takes a village,